If you're a man over 50, you may have noticed something strange about your hunger in the last few years. You eat a meal, a proper meal, the kind that used to fill you up, and an hour later, you're hungry again. You snack between meals more than you used to. You crave foods you used to be able to ignore. You find yourself looking in the refrigerator at 9 p.m., not really hungry, but somehow searching for something to eat. You blame yourself. You think you've lost your discipline. You think you should know better. You haven't, and you should know. Because here's what most men over 50 have never been told. Your hunger is not under your control the way you think it is. It is controlled by two specific hormones that talk to your brain dozens of times a day. And both of these hormones shift significantly in men after 50. Once you understand what's happening, you will never look at your hunger the same way again. The two hormones are leptin and ghrelin. Leptin is your "I'm full" signal. Ghrelin is your "I'm hungry" signal. Together, they form one of the most important hormonal conversations in your body. And in men over 50, that conversation often breaks down. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how leptin and ghrelin work, why they go out of balance in older men, the 3 signs your hunger hormones are already dysregulated, and the practical steps research has identified for bringing them back into rhythm. Stay with me until sign number 3. That's the one almost every man over 50 has experienced, and it has nothing to do with willpower. First, let's understand what these hormones actually do. Leptin is produced by your fat cells. It is the hormone that tells your brain you have enough energy stored. When leptin levels are appropriate and your brain is listening, you feel full after meals. You stop eating. You don't think about food until you actually need it. Ghrelin is produced primarily in your stomach. It is the hormone that tells your brain you are running low and need to eat. Ghrelin rises before meals. It drops after you eat. It is the biochemical voice of hunger. In a healthy younger man, these two hormones are in fluid balance. Ghrelin rises. He eats. Leptin signals fullness. He stops. The cycle is clean. After 50, that cycle starts to break down in 3 specific ways. And the result is a man who feels hungry constantly, even when his body has no actual need for food. Let me walk you through the 3 biggest disruptions. Disruption number 1, leptin resistance. This is the most important and least understood mechanism. When a man gains body fat over the years, his fat cells produce more leptin. In theory, more leptin should mean stronger fullness signals, less appetite, less eating. The opposite happens. In men with chronically elevated leptin, the brain receptors that are supposed to detect leptin become desensitized. The brain stops listening. The signal is loud, but it falls on deaf ears. This is called leptin resistance, and research published in major endocrinology journals has documented that leptin resistance becomes increasingly common in men over 50, especially in men with rising body fat. The result is paradoxical. A heavier man has higher leptin than a leaner man, but because his brain has stopped responding, he experiences less satiety, not more. He's hungrier despite having more fuel stored. Most men have no idea this is happening. They think their hunger is reasonable. They don't realize the alarm bells are ringing inside their body and their brain just can't hear them anymore. Disruption number 2. Disrupted ghrelin patterns. Ghrelin is supposed to follow a clean rhythm. It rises before meals. It drops sharply after eating. It stays low until your body actually needs more food. In older men, this rhythm flattens. Ghrelin does not always drop the way it should after eating. It stays elevated longer than it used to. The hunger signal lingers, even when you've just finished a full meal. What drives this? Multiple things. Poor sleep is one of the most powerful. A landmark study by Dr. Eve Van Cotter and colleagues at the University of Chicago showed that just 2 nights of sleep restriction significantly elevated ghrelin and lowered leptin in healthy adults. The result was substantially increased hunger and stronger cravings, especially for high-calorie, carbohydrate-rich foods. Read that again. 2 nights of poor sleep was enough to measurably shift both hunger hormones. And most men over 50 are not just losing 2 nights of sleep. They are living with degraded sleep night after night, year after year. Disruption number 3, the hidden one. Chronic stress amplifies both hunger hormones at once. This is the part almost no man connects to a hormone. Chronic stress, the kind we discussed in detail in earlier videos on cortisol, has direct effects on hunger. Elevated cortisol increases ghrelin. Elevated cortisol also worsens leptin resistance. So a man under chronic stress is being hit from 2 sides at once. His hunger signal is amplified, his fullness signal is muffled, and the type of food he craves shifts toward the exact foods that make the problem worse. High sugar, high fat, refined carbohydrate. This is why stress eating is not a moral failing, it is biochemistry. The hormonal pattern of a stressed older man is the hormonal pattern of someone who genuinely cannot stop thinking about food. Once you understand this, the conversation with yourself about willpower changes entirely. Now, here are the 3 signs your leptin and ghrelin are already dysregulated. Sign 1. Hunger that returns shortly after eating. You finish dinner. Within an hour or two, you're thinking about food again. You're opening the refrigerator. You're scanning the cabinets. Your body just received a full meal, but your brain hasn't gotten the message. This is a classic leptin resistance pattern, or post-meal ghrelin that didn't drop the way it should. Sign 2. Strong cravings for high-calorie, refined carbohydrate foods. You don't crave broccoli, you crave bread, chips, cookies, sweet things, salty things. The cravings are specific. They are not random. This pattern reflects the dysregulated leptin-ghrelin axis combined with cortisol stress. Your body is signaling for the fastest, densest source of energy it can find. That signal is not optional. It is biochemistry overriding intention. Sign 3. The one most men have never connected. Late-night eating that has nothing to do with hunger. This is the pattern of dysregulated ghrelin combined with poor sleep architecture. You're not actually hungry at 10 p.m. You don't need calories, but you find yourself in the kitchen anyway, snacking, searching, eating without really tasting. Most men assume this is habit, boredom, or just the way they are. But research has linked exactly this pattern to disrupted ghrelin rhythms in older adults with insufficient sleep. Their body is firing hunger signals at the wrong times because the underlying clock that should regulate those signals has been damaged. If you recognize yourself in 2 or more of these signs, your hunger hormones are worth taking seriously. Here's what to do. There are 3 practical moves that work together. Move 1. Protect your sleep. This is the single most powerful intervention for both leptin and ghrelin. 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep consistently reshapes both hormones within days, not weeks, days. Everything I covered in my videos on sleep and melatonin applies here. The same habits that protect your sleep protect your hunger. Move 2. Make protein the foundation of every meal. Protein has the strongest effect on lowering ghrelin and supporting leptin signaling. Carbohydrates and fats by themselves do not produce the same satiety response. Aim for 30 to 40 grams of protein per main meal. Eggs, fish, chicken, beef, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. The actual food, not protein shakes as the primary source. Men over 50 who shift from carbohydrate-dominant meals to protein-anchored meals consistently report reduced cravings, longer satiety, and less impulse eating, often within 2 weeks. Move 3. Reduce ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods are engineered to bypass your normal hunger and fullness signals. They are designed to be hyper-palatable, to make you want more, to prevent satiety from kicking in normally. The more ultra-processed food you eat, the more your leptin signaling deteriorates, the more dysregulated your hunger becomes. Cutting these foods alone, even partially, has been shown in research to improve hunger hormone function within weeks. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to shift the ratio. More whole foods, less packaged. The hormones will follow. Here's what I want you to take from this video. If you have been beating yourself up about your appetite, about your cravings, about your inability to just eat less, please stop. You are not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are not failing. You are a man whose hunger hormones are dysregulated by age, by sleep, by stress, by the food environment, by the cumulative effects of decades of modern American life. This is not a character problem. It is a hormonal problem, and it responds to hormonal solutions. The men who control their weight effortlessly after 60 are not the men with the most willpower. They are the men whose leptin and ghrelin are functioning the way they're supposed to. Their hunger is in rhythm. Their cravings are reasonable. They eat when they're hungry. They stop when they're full, because their hormones are telling them the truth. You can rebuild that, not by trying harder, by sleeping deeper, eating more protein, reducing ultra-processed food, and giving your hormonal system a chance to reset. If this video helped you, share it with another man over 50 who has been silently struggling with food for years. Most men have never been told their hunger isn't really under their conscious control. Sharing this with one person you care about could finally end the war they've been waging with themselves. And please always consult a qualified physician about persistent issues with weight or appetite, or before making major dietary changes. What we covered today is research-based education, not personalized medical advice. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through the single most important medical test every man over 50 should be asking for, not what your doctor probably runs at your annual checkup. something much more comprehensive. A blood panel that reveals more about your actual biological age, hormonal health, and long-term trajectory than any other single piece of information you could possibly get. Most men have never heard of it. Almost no doctor offers it unless you specifically ask. And the difference it makes in how you understand your own body is profound. If you want to understand your body better as you age, subscribe, because the most powerful thing a man over 50 can do is not push harder. It's understand deeper. I'll see you in the next